I so love being African and being from the country is that we truly integrate. If we really want to move forward, we have to make this agreement of seamless borders real. We have to allow the free flow of goods and people and services. A One Africa approach where we specialize in terms of what we produce so we can trade with each other, where we create jobs for young people. Because 60% or more of our population are people 35 years and younger, and we have to pay attention to that.
Leadership, of course, I always say, national leadership, continental leadership will have to come together and be able to reset the different agendas in keeping with Africa 2063. Take those aspirational goals and turn them into effective, implementable national goals and regional goals. So to our leaders, let's say that we've come so far and we recognize all the progress has been made, sometimes under difficult circumstances, but now's the time to ask you for more.
Africa, this intra-African mobility is crucial to what Africa is currently building, because those highly skilled professionals should be able to move to other states based on simplified mobility rules. This is really when there will be a free movement of goods and free movement of persons. Of course, the skills, experience, and training will move at the same time. And one challenge is to see how African states and the African continent as one unique voice will help facilitating this free movement of skills and talents.
I earnestly believe that the current generation of African youth represent the most entrepreneurial subset of the continent's talent pool. On a nearly daily basis, we hear stories of them applying innovative approaches to the myriad problems that the continent faces. Consequently, the youth need to be continuously remain front and center of all these discussions. And as I am pleased to note this African Integration Day event is seeking to do.
We are also seeing that the informal sector, which has been largely affected by the pandemic, remains functional because of the significant role that has been played by young people and young women and women, of course. And this is why UNDP is partnering with both the African Union and REX in ensuring that young people are not just participating, but they are being included in how the CFTA is being implemented. And an evidence to suggest this is our youth challenge, which we did with the African Union in 2020, where we are ensuring that young people benefit and contribute to the opportunities that the CFTA has to offer.
Has adopted a youth policy and strategic action, among others. We're also having a youth forum, which is being hosted, inclusive of the integration of a youth volunteer scheme, now based in Boma. So in line also with the desire to reduce youth employment in the region, there is ECOWAS Youth Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Program, which also has been inaugurated. So looking at all these, the REC is actually looking at how best to harness the potential of the youth and the talent so that they can also look into the integration of the region or the state effectively for integration.
Small medium enterprises, we all know, contribute over 450 million jobs to the labor market in Africa. Over 70% of Africa's GDP comes from the small medium enterprises sector as well as the informal sector. So it's a very, very significant part of Africa's economy. And so if a trade agreement such as the African Continental Free Trade Area does not accommodate in the benefits that we foresee, does not accommodate small, medium enterprises, does not accommodate entrepreneurs, we will be making a very, very serious mistake. That is why we have made it an absolute priority, working with our strategic partner in the area of trade finance, working with Afrexim Bank, to make sure that we provide the necessary tools that will support small, medium enterprises in Africa. For example, we are establishing an Africa Trade Gateway, which is a universe of digital platforms that will enable interconnectivity with the rest of small, medium enterprises that are located across the African continent. We are working with Afro champions on similar digital tools to make sure that the market access that this agreement opens, that it actually leads to commercially meaningful opportunities for small, medium enterprises across the African continent.
We are an international healthcare organization, and we specialize in making custom healthcare solutions, so hybrid solutions that ultimately connect individuals, businesses, governments, local governments, etc., to trusted healthcare providers using our bespoke technology. Focus on 4 main pillars. That's giving patients timely access, ensuring the quality of what they receive in terms of care, focusing on patient outcomes, and having a patient-centered projection. We are currently in the middle of a seed round, and that's where this opportunity is very timely. We do need an injection of resources to allow us to push through our product suites, to complete the rest of our technological build, and of course, to make sure that we expand our tentacles to the various shores in Africa to allow us to come together to really develop and care for patients in the best way that we can.
At Wear Ghana, our vision is to become Africa's most loved brand, and our mission is centered on 3 core pillars. 1, we want to celebrate African excellence. 2, inspire the next generation of African entrepreneurs. And 3, create opportunities for women, all using the business of fashion. What do we see after doing for our company? First, it will help us to source fabric from across Africa. We are really keen on increasing the number of our raw materials that comes from the continent. We are also keen on working with factories across the continent. Finally, we are able to serve our customers around the world through e-commerce, and we are looking to build fulfillment centers across the continent. In terms of our needs that will help us to grow, we are looking for funding of 500,000. This will go into marketing and distribution, building our team, and commissioning of customized fabric across the continent. We're also putting together our advisory board, and we are looking for people with connections, people with expertise in marketing and distribution, and large-scale production management. We are also looking for technical assistance in the areas of production and operational management.
This is Langton Shirinda from Gandhi Consulting Africa. I'm going to talk about the importance of adopting additive manufacturing in Africa. Additive manufacturing uses the vast mineral resources that are available in Africa as raw materials in powder form in order to manufacture the finished products that Africa is currently importing. We have amassed a lot of expertise, both local and international, so that we'll be able to build local centers of excellence in additive manufacturing across the African regional economic commissions. And by so doing, we make the African Continental Free Trade a conduit through which all the member parties will be coming through to learn from the centers of excellences so that they'll be able to quickly adopt and implement additive manufacturing for their countries.
All right, so my name is Alex Matibo. I run a company called Nanasi. We are a unified commerce platform that's helping retail businesses and restaurants in Africa to digitize their operations and then manage them from one place and grow their businesses with intelligent input. Majority of retailers in Africa still use pen and paper to record sales, manage inventory, and do everything within the business. And what that does for a lot of business owners despite this being the largest sector in the economy, is that it hinders growth. And how we make money as a business is what we call a software as a service subscription plan, where different business owners are able to subscribe to the plan of their choice, and they have access to all the features I've just mentioned. We're currently raising money to grow our business internally, and also to grow our team internally, and also to acquire more customers across different markets in East Africa. And probably we need your support, even if it's spreading the word about Nanasi or giving us your insightful feedback on our business. That would be really appreciated.
My name is Bernie Akoroy. I'm the CEO of We've digitized traditional savings groups so we can provide access to a range of financial and non-financial services to the financially excluded, mostly women in Africa. What is the big problem we're trying to solve? It's the fact there are 300 million women in Africa who do not have access to basic financial services like small loans and insurance, despite demonstrating outstanding financial behavior by lending and saving $11 billion in this traditional savings group. In 10 years' time, we want to have millions of members on our platform, credit profile with scores, whereby a diaspora in Africa in New York can go online, see the credit score of a member in Mali, and offer them a personal loan at 10%.
Thanks for the opportunity to participate in this. Listening to all the innovators, and I must say that they've done a credible job, a wonderful job, unless it's all scripted. But what I was looking out for is, first of all, what problem are you solving? And I think the last speaker was very convincing in identifying the problem, identifying the solution, identifying the risks. You rightly pointed out some of the risks, but also pointing out the vision, the end state, and putting it across eloquently. And so did the other innovators. The feedback I'd like to give is operating across multiple markets is a very difficult thing. It's not easy. That's what we do for a living. And my strong advice is, first of all, to achieve the proof of concept. Choose a market that it's not too difficult to operate in, has simpler regulatory framework, and access to technology, access to bandwidth to do what you want to do, because it's technology intensive, clear guidelines on data protection and everything. So my advice is to pick a market that is easier to operate in and test your model.
We as a bank, we are ready to work with them and to provide whatever support we can provide to help them to develop this platform and to gain momentum and to expand around Africa. The other pitch also is quite interesting because, as you know, during COVID, most people were relying on ordering their food from delivery services. And also managing restaurant is sometimes very challenging for many people. So I think also this type of technology-based solution need support, and we are ready to provide the needed kind of support, and also to see how to replicate this experience in other sectors, not only in the restaurant activity, but in other activities around the economy, but also in all African countries.
And so one of the reasons that I believe that Africa cannot run with vaccines before she can walk with basic drugs is that vaccines are truly a very low volume, long-acting type of product. And commercially, Africa has not fully invested in biotech production or commercialization for that matter.
Must Africa learn to work with basic drugs before it can run with vaccines? I would say absolutely not. Africa needs to learn to crawl, meaning it must build broad R&D biotechnology platforms. And after that, it can walk, it can run, it can even fly if it wants to. And it can fly, move with whatever it wants, whether it is therapeutics, whether it is diagnostics, or whether it is vaccines.
Three main reasons why I support the motion that African countries should nationalize their natural resources. First is that there is a growing imbalance in the national resource sector against African countries. So we find, for example, that there's a huge degree and an accelerating degree of concentration. Companies are getting bigger, they are getting fewer, whether it's by virtue of their share of markets and control of resources, whether it's by their M&A merger and acquisition activity, and so on. Companies are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're becoming, the extension of their tentacles globally is becoming more pronounced. And African actors, both at the level of the macro level of the national economy, whether measured in terms of fiscal returns and so on, are losing out.
The marginal gain that accrues to government for owning a mine is far outweighed by the risk. What do I mean by that? A mining company will, for instance, pay taxes like your VAT for whatever activities are taking place. People who are employed have to pay income tax. And then over and above that, you obviously are going to have taxes when profits are declared and so forth and so forth. We have all sorts of different taxes. Those taxes are available to government whether the company is privately owned or not. Makes no difference.
It is that single currency notion, that single line of thought that underlies status quo we want to run away from. That we need a single currency to trade amongst each other, often in United States dollars, because we think everybody has confidence in it. It's that notion that I am saying is outdated. And I am for this motion that in this era of blockchain, it's no longer necessary. That notion that we must have a single African currency is old, if not older than the African Union itself. That's how old the idea is. So we are here in 2021 debating a decades-old idea.
Just last month, we're now in July, in the month of June, the Western African countries were able to announce a common currency, the ECO, which was actually slated to come alive but had to be postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've got at least the CFA in the context of West Africa, Central Africa, and then in Southern Africa, you have the RAND operating within a cluster of countries. And this tells us that the idea, the dream for a common currency is actually viable and is possible.
Africa's share to the global creative economy is still very low, at less than 5% compared to other continents. If you take a country like US, where the art contributes more than $763 billion US dollar to the US economy, which is more than what agriculture, transportation, or warehousing contribute. My company, ADS, Africa Development Solution, is investing massively in art and culture. In fact, last year, December, we brought together in Mindelo, Cape Verde, more than 170 creative to share their best experience and also to see what opportunities are available. We also built the first ever floating music, dancing, movie, and art studio on the Mindelo Marina in Cape Verde, which will support creative of the continent and the rest of the world.
Hi, My name is Kunle Adeyemi, the lead architect and curator of Mansa Floating Hub, a vessel of return and creative space of African imagination. In the fall of 2021, we shall be hosting the Nefertiti laureates, winners of the Nefertiti Prize launched by the African Union and the Afro Champions in the summer of 2020. The laureates will virtually grace the Mansa Floating Hub to manifest ideas, diverse art forms, and deep ancestral links that will shape the mindset for true sustainability on the African continent.
I am the last servant of our eternal Queen Nefertiti, who gave us Aten, the radiance that never wanes. But you have come at the right time, my beloved. You have come to Amana of our foremothers. You have come to Karnak of our old fathers. Before me, Odhiambo, the last sorcerer of the two lands of the past and the present. Now let me pierce you with hopes. Let me seal you with fire in the belly of your followers. Your followers who wake upon dawn, not knowing which dusk will shadow upon them, in the Sahel that burns, and the Kalahari that will never rain. Is this not why you've come? To harvest the rhythm that my queen left behind? To tickle your followers who lie incontinent in your continent?